Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. When we practice karma or yoga or Kundalini yoga, our I becomes very strong. I am a righteous person, I am very nice, and I don't hurt anybody else, and I am not like others. This I becomes very strong. When we are walking the path of yoga, there also the same problem comes up. That I get up early in the morning, I do my asana, I do my pranayam, I want to do samadhi, I become stronger and stronger. When we come to the Kundalini path, what we have seen yesterday, there also it is invocation of the various divine potentialities in us, and thereby I become more powerful than you. It is something like this. Earlier I was poor, then I worked hard, and then I became rich. Now when I have got lot of money, lot of riches, what will I do with that? So I want to help you. See? That I does not allow us to be at home. And this I becomes a problem. Therefore, now we will enter the fourth path, the path of devotion. Path of devotion is a gateway to the kingdom of consciousness. When we are utterly materialist, only interested in the worldly things, we are of the lowest order. When we are interested only in indulgence and enjoyment in this world, nothing else, we are the victims of our own licentiousness. Such people drain their all energy. They have no strength, and therefore they are victimized every now and then. This is the first category. Second category, when we start our spiritual practice, whether it is karma or yoga or Kundalini, we have taken one positive step. And that positive step is, now we have recognized ourselves to be other than the world and the body. And therefore, we say that in my last life I have done something good or bad. Therefore, in this life I have got something good and bad. So, there is a beginning of getting out of the matter and trying to recognize the embodied who is functioning through the body. However, this embodied I becomes stronger and stronger by these three paths, path of karma, path of yoga, and path of Kundalini, because they are I oriented. To get out of it, we enter the fourth area, wherein importance is not of I. Importance is that of He. O Lord, Thy will be done. Not mine, not mine. When this ego or the I recognizes some higher power, he is able to submit and surrender to that higher power. And when we are able to submit and surrender to the higher power, we become free from efforts. So effortlessness leads to bliss. And therefore we come across the real devotees of the Lord who are never disturbed by anything, because they have discovered that surrender to the divine will is the simplest way of living. And therefore, path of devotion takes us away from the relative world of mutual competition and comparison to the higher degree of relativity, where I, the individual, submit to the God, the total, where the wave is submitting to the ocean. See, in wave there are movements, in ocean there are movements. What is the difference between these two movements? In case of wave, there is a compulsion. In case of ocean, there is freedom. So when we surrender to the Lord, we give up our compulsion and discover the freedom. And therefore, path of devotion is working with the body, with the speech, with the mind in such a manner that the I, the ego is surrendered. So, the first technique, with the body. As long as we consider ourselves to be with a name and a form, as long as we consider ourselves to be a body, we cannot conceive of God as a bodiless, attribute-less reality. And therefore it is necessary that we have our personal God. So when I come from outside and all tired and all that, and that time I am completely body oriented, exhausted, fighting, shouting and all that, now I want to relax, so I come and sit in front of my gods. They are beautiful forms, they are beautiful pictures. I come and sit and look at them and get the assurance that I am care of the divine support. There is nothing to be worried about. And this assurance that we get when we are in front of the Lord, that makes us stronger from within. Therefore, we start recognizing the divine presence first in an altar. So when I am before the altar of my Lord, I am a devotee. Like when I am sitting near the steering wheel, I am a driver. In the same manner, when I am in front of my Lord, I am a devotee. Now, who is a devotee? Vote and devote. Voting is living with biasness. devotee is living without biasness.
Devotee im Englischen, das kannst du das in 2 Silben machen. Vote ist wählen. Das heißt, du hast eine bestimmte Meinung, eine bestimmte Opinion about something. Ja, irgendwie, dass du ein bestimmtes Wert dem beimisst. Deswegen wählst du das. Ohne dies Wollen, wenn es ein Devotee, also ohne dass du ihm extra Wert gibst.
So a devotee does not judge people. A devotee does not classify them. A devotee does not evaluate them. A devotee does not put them into classes or strata. For him, everything is the Lord's will. As a result, the mind starts becoming quieter and quieter, and not only the quieter mind, but also the mind starts merging in the reality. Although this is only at the level of the mind. So this is the first step. Like when we want to learn driving, first we learn in an open ground, then we go on the highways. In the same manner, as long as we are living with the gross body, we learn the art of devotion in front of the idol or the pictures of the Lord and become the devotee. And when I leave this place, I continue to be a devotee. Because in every name and every form, it is my Lord alone who is living. When we see a child, we are standing apart, appreciate, not appreciate, be indifferent. But when the child is my child, see the difference? Even the foolishness of my child is glorified because it's my child. In the same manner, when we start seeing my Lord in the hearts of everyone around, such a person starts loving and serving everybody. And for that, the practice of devotion, Narad Bhakti Sutra tells, one of the most important spiritual practice in devotion. Do not take refuge in arguments and logic. There is nothing in this world to argue for or against. We should never get involved in issues of controversial nature. We have no business. Like the other day, somebody asked me this question. Swamiji, what is your opinion whether USA bombarded this Afghanistan and Iraq, whether this was right or wrong? Because they did not find any instruments of mass destruction, but they have killed so many people. So what is your opinion? I said, look here, in this world there are many things which are happening. And about everything we don't have opinion. I said, this is one thing, I have no opinion. Let us not get involved into controversial issues and get lost in that and destroy the peace of mind. Therefore, a devotee does not vote in favor or against anybody. For him, everything is the Lord's play. This is one very, very powerful technique wherein we look at the world as the divine play. In any play, you require all kinds of characters. You require good people, you require bad people, you require love, you require hatred, you require creation, you require destruction. Everything is required. Then only the play becomes beautiful. Suppose there is a play like this. There was a girl, there was a boy. They looked at each other. I love you, I love you. Good. Then they go to their parents. Dad, dad, mom, mom. Yes, we want to marry each other. Get lost. And the cinema or the drama over. There is no charm in such a drama. But if the boy has come and he looked at a girl and he liked her, and at that very time a bad person comes and tries to tease that girl or do something to her, and then this boy jumps over him and dishing and hitting, and in that after the director tells, now enough, oh villain, you go. The villain goes away. And then this boy who protected that girl, he gets a wound exactly on the spot. And then she is so overpowered by love. Nani, darling, for my sake, you have taken out blood. Yes, you are bloody very good, therefore. And then their love grows. And when their love is growing, then another villains come in the life, that is the parents of the son, boy, or the parents of the mother. He is Catholic, we are Protestants. If you get married to him, you will be excommunicated. If you get married to her, you will be excommunicated. And then either you change your brand or you change your brand, or both of you. Oh. See, the drama is so beautiful. There's something to look forward. In the same manner, this whole world is a divine play. In this world, there are good things, there are bad things. There are achievements, there are failures. There are kings, there are paupers. This is how the world is. And once we look at this world as a divine play, we will enjoy, we will not suffer. When we see the drama, the other day I was seeing the movie with Brita about Arjuna and Bhagavan. It is a movie of Bhagavad Gita and golf. So when we were seeing that, now because I know Bhagavad Gita, all the points which were brought out, I was able to appreciate it more effectively than average seer. Like, Bhagavan Sri Krishna was a dark complexion. So there also this Mr. Bhagavan was a dark complexion. Arjuna was a fair complexion, so he was also a fair complexion. And when he finally thinks that he cannot, and he is going to pick up the ball and drop his sticks, so his hands are shaking. Like, in the first chapter of Gita it comes that my hands are shaking and the bow is slipping away from my hand. So all that, when it was going on, I know very well it is just a drama. In the same manner, the path of devotion tells us, oh man, in this divine drama, this is your role. You play your role perfectly well and make the director happy. See, there was one drama practice going on. And the drama practice was last shot. That suddenly on the stage one terrorist comes with the gun in his hand, AK-48. He comes. And there is another man standing in his own house with a newspaper and reading. Morning time. And he says, who is there? Because he doesn't know he is a terrorist. So he takes down the paper. Who is there? Suddenly the terrorist opens the gun and he pumps bullets in that man. And then that man dies. This is the scene on the stage. So the director is sitting in the cockpit and he said, okay, start. the terrorist comes. Ta, 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 ta. This man in the house, a simple one, with a lungi and a newspaper and standing and reading. He says, who is there? And suddenly that terrorist pumps the bullets. What is expected thereafter? That the one who received the bullets, he dies. So how that fellow dies? He folds the newspaper properly, keeps it. And slowly he lies down and acts as if he is dying. So the director from the cockpit says, you dumb, there is no life in your death. Die properly. In the same manner, each one of us in this world are merely the puppets in his hands. Please recognize this principle. It is so important. See, we buy a car. We are the owner of the car. Now the car does not have any purpose. Whether the car should go to the railway station, or should go to the airport, or should go to a drinking booth, or should go to a church. No. The owner of the car decides the purpose. In the same manner, we are created not by us but by Him. So He has some purpose to be fulfilled through us. See, we have no purpose in this world. He has the purpose. Therefore, the path of devotion tells, man, make yourself a fit instrument so that Lord can fulfill His purpose through you. See? Therefore, all our spiritual practice is only to make ourselves a fit instrument. The best example I can think of is this. Suppose I want to tighten somebody's screw. Somebody is not, something screw. It has become loose. So I will take one screwdriver and start putting the head of the screwdriver into the niche of the screw and twist it. But when I am doing that, the head of the screwdriver is so flat that it slips. It doesn't stay there. What will I do with that screwdriver? Discard. Then I take the second screwdriver. Okay, the head is fitting in the niche perfectly well. But the handle is such that only that is moving and not the main blade. Oh, that I throw away. Then I take the third screwdriver, which fits properly, and when I move the handle, it really moves the screw. That screwdriver I will use, is it not? If this example is clear, the Lord wants His purpose to be fulfilled in this world. He knows how to run His business. We don't have to improve this world. All those who have come to save this world, saviors, they were shaved off. The world is as it is. There cannot be a better world, there cannot be a bad world. This has always been like this. There is nothing new in this world. But we imagine that I can improve the society, I can do good to the world. Therefore, friends, the only thing that we have to practice ourselves as we remain as a fit instrument, so that the Lord can lift us like a screwdriver and get His job done through us. When this attitude is taken in life, there never will be and arrogance if we succeed, and there will never be a guilt if we fail. See, you have seen those tennis matches on the TV? When they hit a proper shot and they get a point, and next time they hit and it fails, they break that racket. How much strong I. See? Therefore, devotion gives us an altogether different vision. See? And when this vision is developed, we are at home everywhere. First. Second thing, when I start suspecting divinity in everyone and everything, my interaction with the world is totally different. See? Today when I was standing just before coming for the class, this Dew mother, when I am seeing her since yesterday, so when I went, I took little bit of honey and butter and fed her. Now when I am looking at her as a prospective mother, my perception of looking at her is totally different. And in case she was a terrible kind of model, presenting herself in another model way, my way of looking at her would have been totally different. See? And when I start seeing, like I have seen mother in her, so my interaction is different. In the same manner, when we start suspecting divinity in people, divinity in things, our interaction changes. And what is that interaction? Change is interact with respect and reverence. See? When we go to the temple, stand before the Lord, and if we are the devotee of the Lord, we have the divine experience. And if we are the sanitation inspectors, the Lord is the same. But our attention is only on why so many people, why there is so much of blood, why so much of water, why don't they clean the things, why they are not quiet, why they are making so much of noise here. Because the devotee is not yet awakened. See? It is only a lower being is interacting. Therefore, friends, this path of devotion gives us an altogether different perspective. So as long as we consider ourselves to be body, there is only one relationship with the world. The total world is the creation of the Lord. And if I respect and revere the Lord, I respect and revere His creation also. There is nothing like the children of rich God and the children of poor God. See? To say that everybody is a child of God, but unless they have our brand of God, they will not be liberated. It is a talk of KG1 standard. It has no value whatsoever. Like we tell the children about the Santa Claus. I received one email, in that this was received. 4 stages through which man goes. Stage 1. Santa Claus is real. Stage 2. Santa Claus is not real. Stage 3. You like to be a Santa Claus so that the children are entertained. Stage 4. You really become a Santa Claus. So, when we are really devoted to the Lord, there is but one absolute truth. So surrender to Him. That is what, when we really have love, we can never have hatred. One example I'll give you. There is one Amma, one day she came, 3-4 of us were sitting, and she was very angry, annoyed. I said, Amma, cool down, what is the problem? And she was firing. Somebody said something about me and my lecture, which she did not like, because she's extremely loving me. So she was so angry. Swamiji, I have given him left and right. What he thinks of himself, what he knows. Started. I was keeping quiet. I said, Amma, I'll talk to you later on this issue, okay? Not now. Because now anything I talk, you will react. So there is no point talking now. After some time we'll talk. And the topic concluded there. After about 4-5 days, again she came. That time she was cool, quiet. I said, Amma, do you remember that day you came and you were so angry? Yes, Swamiji, I was very angry. Because he has no business to say like this. I said, Amma, let us analyze this event. Do you know why you became angry? Because you love me, is it not? Of course, I love you and I cannot tolerate anybody saying anything. I said, you tell me, if you love me, what is in your heart? Love. If love is in your heart, how it can express as a hatred for anybody? See? Then, do you mean I don't have love for you? I said, yes, I mean you don't have love for me. You have attachment for me. If you really love me, you will not hate anybody in the world. See? That is the meaning of pure love. And this is possible only when we change our vision. When we are able to recognize the divine presence in everything and being. And this training we start taking from our altar. And slowly we develop that faculty. And then extend that knowledge of divine presence in and through everything. This is how with the body, with the name, with the form, we start serving the world by our gross body. Now, second important point with reference to devotion and our body. Our body is a big load for us. If we are the victims of laziness, excessive sleep, and repeating the same mistakes again and again. Again I repeat. Our body becomes a load for us when we are the victims of laziness. Second thing, excessive sleep. And third thing, doing the same mistake again and again. To get out of these three limitations, devotion is the only simple technique. That is why, in India, we have tradition, those who have come, they know. When suppose people are sitting in a room and an elderly person enters, like children are sitting and an elderly person enters. The moment an elderly person enters the room, everybody stands up. Now when one stands up, he has to give up laziness. See? This is how we give up laziness in our life. Similarly, for attending the classes, there are strict rules in India. When you go to the Gurukul and all that, these rules we don't see in the Western world because they are never taught. Here, whatever I feel like doing is allowed. But by that we destroy ourselves. This is not understood. So, when we do not make our body as a problem for us, then only it can work. And this can be done in terms of devotion. So what the path of devotion tells? Early morning, now I am taking the second step. Early morning after you get up, finish your bath, etc. And before you become somebody in the world, finish your puja of the Lord. See? Now if somebody has taken this vow, then I will chant Gayatri mantra 108 times before I take a cup of tea. Gayatri mantra is chanted before sunrise, chanted after taking bath. Now see, these rules and regulations take away all the laziness from us. And what really matters in life is this. Are we living with inspiration or we are living in perspiration? That is important. So the path of devotion takes away all the negativities from our life. If you want to understand what I said, if you happen to go to India, go to Kerala. Early morning, 4 o'clock, you go to any temple in Kerala. People are fresh, nicely bathed, new beautiful clothes, lots of flower in the hairs of the ladies. Everywhere there is such freshness. See, when the day begins with an inspired mood, the whole day is lived joyfully and cheerfully. What if we begin our day, what is the time? 8 o'clock. I think I'll sleep for another 2 hours. See? This kind of life is no spiritual life. Therefore, to get out of the limitations of the body, discipline of devotion is the simplest method by which our body is no more a burden for us. And then we come to know, I have seen when I was going to Kedarnath in India, it's a mountain path of Lord Shiva's temple, one of the 4 important places. You have to walk 14 kilometers on foot, and it is so tiring. You start from 6,000 feet above sea level and you end up in 11,000 feet. And it is so cold. It is so cold. All ice around, small path. On that people are going, mules are going, old, young people are going. And there when I saw old people without anything in their feet, with a stick in their hand, and walking away comfortably, chanting the name of the Lord. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. But there is a brightness in their eyes. There is a joy in their heart. Where from that strength comes? That strength does not come from nutrition. That strength comes from inner self. Therefore, friends, if we really want strength, this divine strength has to be invoked. And when I know that I am protected by Him, what is there in this world to be afraid of? He will take care. In Patanjali Yoga Darshan, there is one sutra which is repeated twice. Ishvara pranidhanadva. Samadhi is possible by all methods and optionally also by God's grace. When the divine grace showers, you don't require any spiritual practice. See? It is so important. Therefore, friends, simply thinking of karma or yoga or our sadhana and trying to achieve something is not complete. We have to bring the element of God or divinity in our life. When this starts happening, we get an anchor that I am not alone. The Lord is taking care of me. There is nothing to be worried about. Things will be all right. And slowly, slowly, we come to discover that not only the divine grace is in good things, but the divine grace is also in the bad events of our life. It is we who are unable to recognize the divine grace. There was a king. He had a son, and he was quite a mature boy in his middle 20s. That time this king died. Naturally, the son became the king, but the ministers remained the same. So the chief minister or the prime minister of the king's court was an old man, and he had this habit. Oh, thank God, whatever happens is for good. For everything he used to say like that. One day this young king is coming down the steps of the palace, about 100 steps, a huge palace, and when he is coming down, he just topples because of the big frock and all that. He topples. And when he topples, as usual, this old man says, thank God, by God's grace, everything is fine. Naturally, that fallen king becomes very angry. And he is rolling down up to the last. And when he goes down, this old man also goes. And again he helps the king to get up. And then he comes to see that his small finger is broken completely, to be chopped off. When he looks at it, again, thank God, whatever happens is for the good. Now this young king is unable to understand. He becomes so angry. Puts him behind the bar. Put him behind the bar, old fellow. There again he says the same thing. Thank God, everything happens with the God's grace. He is behind the bar. One day this young king has gone in the forest for hunting along with his servants. And somehow or the other he misses all of them and goes into some place where the worshippers of Kali, Mata, goddess Kali, they catch hold of this king and they have to give the human sacrifice before the mother. So they catch hold of him and take him, put him down and give him nice food, ask him to take rest. Tomorrow morning sacrifice will be done. Next morning he is given nice bath and brought to the temple to be offered as a sacrifice to the goddess. And the priest comes with the sword for offering it to the mother. But before it is offered, they have to check whether this is worthy of offering to the mother or not. If there is any abnormality, it is not accepted. That's why when we give something to the God, it is never tested by us. So, when the priest starts seeing from his head and the limbs, and when he comes to the hand, he sees that there is one finger less. He says, no, this cannot be offered to the goddess, it is incomplete, and he is released. Then he comes home and straight away goes to the jail and asks, hey, what you told? Thank God, whatever happens is for the good. I have understood. Had I not lost my finger, I would have lost my head today. But tell me, when I put you also behind bar, you said the same thing. Thank God, everything happens for the good. Now, what good has happened to you? He said, sir, had I been not behind the bars, I would have accompanied you. And I am intact. And I would have been offered in lieu of you. So therefore, everything that happens in our life is for our good. Now with this principle, what we have to learn is try to see the divine grace in our life. This is called as the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. See, Arjuna became confused, confounded, depressed, dejected. And then only he was given the knowledge divine. In the same manner, when everything is perfectly all right, do you think we can think of God? When things start going wrong, then we start thinking, hey, what happened? Then we think that there is some higher power in this world. Therefore, friends, every problem in our life is a reminder by the Lord, hey, you are forgetting the divine behind you. And thus, devotion is a technique by which we recognize that this pokey individual ego has no existence in this whole world. But see how much arrogance we have. There was one NRI, NRI means non-residential Indian, from Hong Kong. He came to Pune and settled there. Because he was in Western country, this Middle East, he had tremendous money, millions of dollars. So he purchased a very big bungalow in Pune and he shifted all his belongings to that, and then he invited me to inaugurate the house. So I went. And the whole house was filled with so many discussion pieces because he moved around the world. And after all that was done, I asked, hey, let's go to your house. He said, Swamiji, this is my house. I said, oh, I thought this is a museum. No, this is my house. I said, okay. Do you know, Swamiji, how much this will cost? I said, maybe 5 to 10 euros. No. This costed me $180,000. So much, only the drawing room with so much of, yes. Then there was one globe, a transparent globe. So I acted dumb. I said, hey, what is that round thing? Looks beautiful. Swamiji, you don't know, that is a globe. I said, what is a globe? He said, globe means the whole earth. Everything is there. I said, really, everything is there? Hey, let me see. Where is America? So he showed, this is America. I said, where is Russia? Swamiji, Russia is disintegrated. I said, okay, show something, Moscow. This is Moscow. I said, very good. Then I said, do we have India on this globe? Of course. He said, this is India. I said, hey, you are very intelligent. In this India, do you have Pune? He said, yes. He took one pencil and dot. This is Pune. I said, so lovely. Now in this Pune, what you have shown me, this area where your house is there, can you show me that? And in that area, this particular road on which your house is there, show me that. And in that house, show me this room. And in that room, show me where you and me are. See, in the scheme of totality, our existence is negligible. But we feel, aha, I have done this thing, I have done that thing, I will do this, I will do that. This ego has to be liquidated. And when we thus keep ourselves a fit instrument so that the Lord descends in us and He starts functioning. When the Lord starts expressing through us, we live, we allow everybody to live. When the Lord starts functioning through us, we don't deceive anybody. We don't get deceived by anybody. We lead an alert, vigilant life. When the Lord starts functioning through us, we are never miserable, nor we make others miserable. That is the fulfillment of human existence. See, in this, I is deleted. It is only His will that is expressing. Such a person is no more a person, but is a counter through which the divine is flowing in this world. Therefore, the path of karma, the path of yoga, the path of kundalini gives us all strength, power, but I becomes stronger and stronger. Now this I has to be liquidated, and for that the invocation of the principle of devotion in life is extremely essential. So with this attitude, when we live in the gross world with the gross body, we are practicing devotion. A devotee is never depressed, is ever cheerful and happy. Now the second instrument that is used for devotion is the instrument of speech. One is the body, second is the speech, and third is the mind. So when we are functioning through our instrument called as the speech, the question is, how do we express? Speech is one of the most powerful means of creating friends and enemies in this world. And normally we keep ourselves engaged in talking in one of the following ways. Some of us are very much enchanted in talking about the third person. Suppose I am talking to her, I will talk about the other person. Oh, that fellow is very bad. What do you know? So we talk about the third person. When we engage our speech in talking about the third person, we are third class. Useless. Second thing, we talk about ourselves. I am so and so. I don't do this thing. I don't do smoke. I don't do. I am strictly vegetarian. And I am very good. I get up in the morning. All the time talking about I. First person singular. They are first class fools. So either we are third class talking about the third person, or all the time talking about the first person singular, first class fools. Now the third variety, Mahatmas. They neither talk about themselves nor they talk about the third person. Then they talk about the person who is in front of them. See, this is one technique by which you can dissolve your sorrows in life. When we are sincerely interested in the life of others, then you have to put your life as subordinate. One day, I was in a group of people like this, and this happened before lunch. So people in India, they will have some questions, doubts and all that, and I'll reply them. So initially I used to do it. Now I don't do that. Now I directly go to the dining table and eat. Because they will keep on asking 101 question and not give food. So I thought this is no good. So when somebody asked me a question, I said, hey, if you don't want to give me food, don't give. But I will not answer. No, Swamiji, last question, please. I said, all right, last question, no second question. Okay. Question was, Swamiji, when we are with Mahatmas, what is that we like to be with you? What is that we like to listen to you? What is that we like your company? What is the reason? As the reason you find out because you like, I don't say that way. No, you please tell us. We don't understand. I said, okay, understand this way. When we are with the Mahatmas, we go on talking and they listen sincerely. In this world, who listens to us? So Mahatmas only listen, and therefore we like, at least somebody is there to listen. Second thing, when we talk in the world to others, everybody is competing to tell about himself or herself. Who wants to listen to others? Mahatmas do not talk about themselves. See? Therefore, this third category is the spiritual practice in devotion. Never get involved into the gossip columns. Never go on blowing your own trumpet. In somebody's house, I read one sticker. If you have to blow your nose, not your trumpet. Isn't it? Otherwise, you are all the time blowing our trumpet. And to keep our mind or the speech purified, one of the technique is this. This technique I have seen being practiced by one lady in Australia. She is Indian, a mother of 2 daughters, and she must be in her maybe mid-40s. She is working in an hospital as the front desk receptionist. She is not qualified in the medical profession. When they migrated there, she just casually applied that if I get some job. So she was given that job. And for last 10 years she is there. Everybody in the whole department has to come and say hello to her. She is so full of life. Nobody has seen her even once that she is off mood, she is depressed, she is cranky, she has taken any leave. Never. So they say, hey, what are you made up of? Here every one of us are going through various moods of life. And what is this? You are never disturbed anything. What is the secret? She said, I don't know. I am like this. Who cares? And relax. And I know that lady very closely. Her one of the great qualities is she is constantly humming the names of the Lord. She doesn't keep her mind and mouth free. That's why when we do the japa sadhana, try this. When you are walking, step by step, left step, Om Namah Shivaya, right step, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Mind will be automatically introverted. Whenever we have nothing to do, we start the poultry farm. Cock, 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 cock. And we keep on talking to ourselves. If you observe this, we talk to ourselves the most. Such people who talk to themselves, others don't hear that. They call themselves to be sentimental. What happened? Nothing. I am sentimental. Means what? I am talking to myself. And when I talk to myself, but others also hear, then we are called as mental. Therefore, the best way to keep our chattering mind quiet is this. Keep on humming the Lord's name. If you know Gita, keep on chanting Gita. If you know some stotras, keep on chanting stotras. If you know nothing, keep on chanting Lord's name again and again, again and again. It will slowly quieten down your unwanted chatter. So by this, our body, our speech is engaged in the path of devotion. Then the third thing that we have is our mind. Now our mind has to be engaged in the discipline of devotion. Mind is normally projecting and imagining about many things. And these projections and imaginations of many things can be curtailed if the mind is given a theme. And therefore, the mind is given a theme by way of study of scriptures, listening to the Satsang. It is one of the most essential aspects of human existence. Like food is required for the body, breathing is required for life. Similarly, Satsang is required for proper understanding and living a meaningful life. Then only the life is lived properly. Like many people have this common complaint. Swamiji, when we are listening to you, everything is so simple and okay. We don't know, everything is fine. But again we go out, put on our shoes, again the same thing comes back. What should we do? Don't put on your shoes. Put on somebody else's. Now why? This is not a complaint. This is not worthy of being complained. Do we complain? Swamiji, we have taken tea in the morning at 6:30. At 8:39 again we feel hungry. Then what do you do? No, we ate breakfast. Good. But you know what happened? Again at 12:30, 1 o'clock we feel hungry. And what do? We again eat. Okay. Then again in the evening at 4 o'clock we feel thirsty, we want to have something to eat. Then do you complain? No, we eat. Then again at night before going to sleep we feel hungry. Then do you complain? No, we eat. So we know in the same manner. Satsanga is not only once. We have to repeat these thoughts to ourselves again and again. Then only we will have firm abidance in the truth. And that is why one of the important aspects of devotion is studying the scriptures, one. Second, studying the life stories of great masters. When you study the life stories of the great masters, we get inspiration to live. We get guidance through their lives. And in this manner, we become divine oriented. And when we become divine oriented, our ego starts liquidating. Just like when there is darkness, the candle looks to be very bright. But as the sun rises, the light of the candle becomes non-perceptible. In the same manner, in the kingdom of ignorance, arrogance, individualities, this I shines forth as the most successful one or the most miserable one. But when the divine light of divinity is faced, this I, ego, is totally liquidated. And thereafter, the divine alone expresses. Therefore, these three things that we have, the body, the speech, and the mind, all of them are to be engaged on a regular basis. So by the physical body, serve the world. By the speech, chant the Lord's name. And by the mind, think about Him or study the scriptures or study the life histories of the great masters. Thus, these three things that we have, body, speech and the mind, they are all engaged for a common goal. And thus, a devotee is born. A devotee is insult proof. We make prestige issue out of every small little thing. I am insulted before everybody. But a servant is never insulted. So when we live in this world as His servants, we don't want to improve upon His creation, we only serve. With that attitude when we live, our ego starts getting liquidated. And this liquidated ego is the place where from the infinite reality starts expressing. This is how ego is removed through devotion. This liberation from I is the purpose of life, not liberation of I, which is tried in karma, in yoga and in siddha marga. There the I is still maintained, but devotion is an area where I is dissolved. When the I disappears, all the problems disappear. When the I comes up, all the problems come up. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.